and I went on to start exploring and to document the beauty and magic of the land of Israel.
Because you are a pretty prolific still photographer too.
This is my second wife over here, is the camera. And for a couple of years, I wanted to document all the surrounding of the Jerusalem area, all the Judean deserts surrounding Jerusalem, and naturally I got the northern part of the Dead Sea.
Located about an hour east of Jerusalem, beyond the sea level of the Judean desert, is the lowest point on earth, the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is not actually a sea, but rather a large lake that border runs for about 60 miles through Israel to the west and Jordan to the east. Located in the Jordan River Valley, it is simply the terminal lake of the River Jordan's end point. The river flows in at one end, but the water doesn't flow out again. Remarkably, it is over 1400 feet below sea level. Everything seems peaceful, special, and quiet in this ancient salt lake. It is one of the saltiest bodies of water in the world, which is the reason behind the inability of humans to drown.
Only in constant transaction, even the possibility of cosmic action, trying to survive till the very last breath, life nourishing but named death. Let the Dead Sea be as it would. Embed this in your mind. Killing it will do no good. Apart from the historical and religious significance, the region around the Dead Sea today is of great importance for agricultural purposes and especially for tourism. But now, every year, the Dead Sea is retreating more than 3 feet. It is, however, shrinking at an alarming rate. The surface level is dropping more than a meter a year. The rivers that flow into it are dried up, so there's no new water, just sinkholes left instead. More than 6,000 sinkholes around the banks already exist that swallow the buildings and roads, turning beautiful tourism shores into unstable danger zones.
Now, the question arises, is Dead Sea getting shallower and saltier? The Dead Sea and its environment are changing as a result of a sharp decrease in water inflow from the River Jordan, which has been increasingly diverted using a dam for agricultural and industrial use. The River Jordan is fed by the River Yarmouk, which flows through Syria. Over the last 30 years or so, the Syrians have built more than 40 dams to harness the water in the Yarmouk, water that once fed the Jordan. Recent figures from the Ministry of Water and Irrigation show that inflows to the Dead Sea are just 10% of what they were in the 1960s. In addition to this, there is aggressive mining for minerals like silicate, phosphates, bromine, and potash, which affects the level of the Dead Sea. It is estimated that over 61.3 billion gallons are pumped out of the sea every year. The extraction activities of the mining companies, Dead Sea Works, and the Arab Potash Company are contributing to environmental instability of the region. These companies are not restricted enough.
In order to attract more people to the Dead Sea region, the administrations are going on a development overdrive by proposing hotels along the central shorelines of the sea. Moreover, the construction of urban facilities, water parks, and shopping malls will also put further pressures on the land and water resources. In addition, the rainfall rate in the 10-year period from 2004 till 2013 has been below the long-term normal rainfall. Other hydrological data is also disappointing. The surface Dead Sea waters are also evaporating at a significant rate that is increasing due to warmer temperatures, which is global climate change. The temperatures are also predicted to increase over the coming years, approximately 5 to 11 degrees centigrade, while rainfall is expected to decrease by a possible 30%. The Dead Sea also received replenishment from underground water, but these waters are also diminishing. The DC aquifer that feeds into the Dead Sea is nearing exhaustion. It has a possible expected lifespan of about 30 years.
The Scientists and climate change activists are warning that by 2050, the Dead Sea, which was around in ancient times, could almost disappear. There is only one Dead Sea in this world, and it's vanishing. Israel and Jordan want to save the Dead Sea. Water-related projects are currently being proposed in Jordan. The Mediterranean Dead Sea Canal, MDSC, is a proposed project to dig a canal from the Mediterranean Sea to the Dead Sea, taking advantage of the 400-meter difference in the water level between the seas. The project could correct the drop in the level of the Dead Sea observed in recent years. The canal could also be used to generate hydroelectric power and desalinate water by reverse osmosis.
A pipe dream. The Red Sea Dead Sea Canal project aims to save the Dead Sea by siphoning off at least 2.5 billion cubic meters of water from the Red Sea and pumping it to the Dead Sea. The Red Dead project, as it's known, would present some formidable technical challenges. Water would have to be desalinated first at the Red Sea, as the salty water would pollute the Dead Sea's unique chemistry. It would then have to be pumped up to a great height and fed into enormous pipes that could channel the water across the desert to its destination. The extra fresh water would not just benefit Jordan and Israel, but the Palestinians too. So the World Bank is keen, and the US is likely to provide at least some of the startup capital. In recent years, Israel has increased the amount of water being released in the River Jordan. The effect has only been to turn a trickle, but it's better than nothing. In which case, the Dead Sea will continue to shrink at something like its current rate for years to come, but it won't die. If we don't act soon enough, the Dead Sea might actually be dead. Saving the Dead Sea is the responsibility of the entire world. That is humanity's true prized possession.
The Dead Sea Revival Project has been recognized by NASA, CNN, National Geographic, the Israeli mainstream news media in Hebrew and English for saving the Dead Sea. DSRP develops a variety of educational offerings based on exploration by foot or boat around the ecological system, starting at the Sea of Galilee and ending at the Dead Sea. DSRP also offers multimedia presentations to educational and cultural institutions and to the tour operators. It is producing a film documenting the degradation and the disappearance of the water of the Dead Sea for social awareness. The science of saltiness and saturation means that the Dead Sea will eventually reach a point of equilibrium where it will stop shrinking. Dead Sea is prone to a certain level of evaporation that is hygroscopic. It's almost as though this endangered natural treasure has a kind of inbuilt safety mechanism of its own.
It is an invaluable cultural, environmental, and economic treasure. So, this is not the end of a story about how the Dead Sea is going to die. More of an encouraging story about how nature can protect itself from man and his man-made catastrophes.
Only we have the power to change the world by letting nature take its call.